Hello, dear friends. Many of us are losing interest in things that used to keep us going and gaining interest in new things. Opinion piece, purpose of life, battle for consciousness, rise of cryptocurrencies, new financial architecture, IMF Deputy Director resigns. July 22nd is the shortest day. Let's start. Everyone seems to be searching for their purpose in life, what the Japanese call ikigai. For our existence to have a meaning, we need a reason to get out of bed, something that drives us and gives us direction, especially in times of uncertainty. I am driven by the curiosity to learn new things and discover the truth. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that literally means reason for living or reason for being. It is the motivation that makes life worth living, what drives a person to wake up every day with satisfaction and meaning. In addition to being a personal philosophy for finding happiness and well-being, Ikigai also promotes a balance between individual growth and community contribution, and is associated with a long and happy life. The ultimate purpose of life is enlightenment, to attain the ultimate truth for the benefit of all beings. This is the purpose that masters know and serve. The meaning of life is for us to discover our true identity, to know who we really are, according to Steve Biko. It turns out that who we really are is God. The greatest purpose of life is for God to encounter Himself in a moment of our enlightenment. Life was created for this greater purpose. Bliss elevates a person and allows them to know things they couldn't see at a lower level of reality. None of these events come with road signs or an owner's manual. All are one, because no one ever dies, and we all return to God in the end. Time and again, lessons unfold from what seems to have been an acorn seed or an exploding holographic cell. In other words, the source, the one, wants to know itself, and it can't because it is everything. So it has taken on the form of yourself and designed a universe so we can know our true identity. The moment of enlightenment is when God meets God. I am God when I cease to be ego. Operations. Juan Osabin claims that there are networks of undercover agents within intelligence agencies who operate with hidden agendas, often contrary to the will of the people. He also mentioned secret operations to bring dark side figures to trial in preparation for a systemic change in the justice system. According to him, there are active cells ready to act as institutional support against corruption. He maintains that documents and testimonies will be published in the coming weeks that will demonstrate the participation of high-ranking officials in political espionage networks. He linked these operations to recent events such as accusations of federal fraud, international conflicts, and supranational crises, calling them planned destabilization. According to Benjamin Fulford, Donald Trump's political reality show is unlikely to survive beyond this summer, as the Gnostic Illuminati are turning on him, according to White Hat sources. The refusal to arrest Epstein's pedophiles was the deciding factor, and now they promise to release the real Trump files. French intelligence warns that the cabal has 3 earthquake-generating vessels. The most urgent case is a ship located 300 miles south of the Japanese island of Hokkaido that is slowly heading south. A second such ship is in the Bay of Bengal, heading toward Myanmar. The third is approaching Istanbul. They are spraying chemtrails to eliminate the god yin in order to erase the spirituality, morality, and resilience of the population. The target is not your lungs or your immune system. The target is your soul. The VMAT2 yin facilitates spiritual awakening, triggers moral clarity, and strengthens resistance to fear and tyranny. Astrology. July 22nd is the shortest day on Earth. We are approaching the age of Aquarius, an important milestone in the great year. This age is even mentioned in the Bible and is symbolized by the cherub, an angelic being with the head of a lion, age of Leo, the head of an ox, age of Taurus, the head of a human, age of Aquarius, and the head of an eagle, age of Scorpio, transformed into the constellation of the eagle. Carrie Kay proposes that Eden is a frequency rather than a physical place, a vibrational dimension activated by our consciousness. She affirms that we do not create a new world, but rather reclaim what always existed, unlocking our frequency to be the wake of the current that others follow. The new moon in Leo on July 24th rose change with a rebirth of creativity and self-worth. The sun and moon in Leo encourage us to express ourselves, embrace our light, and act with confidence, pride, and courage. It's an ideal time for new beginnings. New moons symbolize planting seeds for our projects. Leo energy encourages us to begin initiatives that reflect our talent with strength and joy. Economy. Stocks hit new highs. The dollar falls as stocks rally. Gold hits a new monthly high. Oil price falls due to oversupply. IMF Deputy Gita Gopinath resigns. The BRICS are pushing for a new financial architecture to combat IMF and World Bank abuses. A clinic for those who don't want to go to work opens in China. Cryptocurrencies. The US approves the first major bill to regulate digital assets. Bitcoin, Ether, and other cryptocurrencies are on the rise after the enactment of the Genius Act. The systematic elimination of between 19 and 21 top cryptocurrency executives and innovators since 2020 reveals a level of coordination. The disappearance of cryptocurrencies only makes sense when viewed as part of a broader transition in the financial system. The current system relies on control of currency creation and oversight of transactions. Cryptocurrencies represent both a threat to that control and a potential replacement system. The systematic disappearance of key players suggests careful management of this transition. According to Scott Zimmerman, researcher Jeff and filmmaker Adam Riva. It's a mistake. USA. The alleged Russian collusion in 2016 was an attempt to impeach Trump. The Justice Department fires Maureen Comey, daughter of James Comey, the federal prosecutor who sought to keep the Epstein files secret. US publishes more than 240,000 declassified pages on the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. US builds its own scorching mini-sun of infinite energy. The goal is to create an artificial nuclear fusion sun, offering an unlimited energy alternative. Middle East. 25 countries and one EU commissioner call for an immediate end of the war in Gaza and aid restrictions. The UN blames tanks and snipers for Sunday's massacre at the food distribution. The displacement to southern Gaza will create massive concentration camps, says the UN. The Pope asks the world not to justify the collective punishment of the civilians in Gaza. Israeli soldiers informed the press that they have been ordered to massacre starving civilians trying to obtain food from aid centers. The Kurdish PKK guerrilla group has begun its disarmament in northern Iraq. Europe. The public deficit stands at 2.9% of GDP in the Eurozone in the first quarter of 2025. Trains that stop by themselves. Italy inaugurates an automatic seismic alert on its railways. The US deploys nuclear weapons in the UK for the first time in 17 years. 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Russia. Putin calls Europe's desire to renounce Russian fertilizers nonsense. Spain. A judge prohibits the former president of Adif and the former director of highways from leaving Spain following their testimony in the Goldo case. The world's largest aircraft carrier strike group enters the Mediterranean. Americas. Mexican Coca-Cola will be manufactured in the US. Mexico's public debt fell to 49.2% of GDP. More than 80 Mexicans suffered cyberbullying in 2024. Juvenile delinquency cases in Mexico increased by 45% in 2 years. The Mexican government removes more than 40 tons of sargassum from a southeastern beach. Russia and Mexico among the 10 countries with the greatest industrial contribution to economy. Cuba and Russia are teaming up to produce the film Teófilo, dedicated to a famous boxer. Ecuador wants to revitalize its main hydroelectric plant with the help of China. Bolivia denied Starlink's entry because it considers it a threat to national sovereignty. Petro announces that Colombia will seek to manufacture its own weapons. Former Paraguayan President Mario Abdo Benitez allegedly hid more than $21 million in account in the Seychelles Islands, considered a tax haven. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.